Good morning. I know that people are still filtering in on TikTok where I'm filming this, but this is for the folks that are going to watch this on YouTube or later. Just good morning. Thank you so much for showing up. It has been a wonderful, whirlwind, awesome ride to be doing these TikTok lives for the past many days. I have loved meeting people, helping them, helping you with what you're stuck with. I know what it's like to be stuck, and holy Moses, if I had gotten help earlier. I mean, I love my life now, so good morning, Rosa. I also feel a little bit like Miss Jane, or I got to look it up. I'm going to write that down, like the romper room lady, because I can see people showing up in the comments and I see their questions. If you're watching this after it has happened and it's not live and I've uploaded it to YouTube, that's where all that happens. But here's what I want to suggest to you is, please, everybody who's tuning in right now, I'm doing this live, and I will be doing this live and just setting the expectations for myself because I have a busy day ahead of me. I'm going to be here for the next hour. And the only reason I got up early today for me and didn't sleep in and didn't just stay in my own house scrolling on my own phone and watching other people do stuff on TikTok is because I want to help. I am really good at creating order out of chaos. I really love helping people if I have something that I know will ease their struggle and ease their pain. It's just part of being a human, I feel like. Like, why would if I knew you were, dealing with something and I knew how to help, this is what I do. And the fun thing is that the internet and the universe and like all the stuff that has conspired, like, has allowed me to reach you wherever you are. You're, anywhere on the planet. And the neat thing is I can be here where I am physically, but because we have this connection here via, the internet and TikTok, my help could help you. So please, if you are struggling with stuff and clutter, my name is Beth. I'm the Decluttering Life Coach, and my coaching program is Destination Decluttered. I call it Destination Decluttered because I love to travel, and for years I would road trip around the U.S. I've written books about road tripping, things like that. So everything I do is in the framework of a road trip. So I make it fun. I am, like, for example, your co-pilot. If you're on if you are sorry, it's still early. You're in the driver's seat of your life. I'm the person next to you, just being there to encourage you wherever you say, hey, you know where I think I'd like to go, and you say it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. Okay. Encouragement is the word. Encourage, to give courage to somebody, versus discourage, to take away the courage, So I know what a little encouragement can make a difference. I have been there myself on both sides where I could have used the encouragement from, decades of my life. But now I'm in a position where I've learned some stuff. I have gotten some coaching myself. I have read some books that have changed my life. And I have actively worked on what is making me struggle. So, and I am now at a place where I have some really good tips and tricks and ideas. And I want to just encourage you on a Monday morning. You're starting the week. And what could you do differently this week that would get you towards the life you want to live? I love doing my coaching early in the week. My clients know that because that's when I book them. And it's just a really cool thing to say, okay, this is the beginning of a week. I could make this the beginning of just a new chapter of my life, because today is the day that I kind of simply, I say I made a decision, because decision making is so much of it. I made a decision to do something different, and that something different is something that I know is going to, and this is where I get this little like spidey sense that I got to pull out my map of the U.S. Where is it? Is like, see, I told you, it's all road tripping. It's road tripping and driving, okay? So today is the day that I'm over here on the East Coast, because I'm over on the East Coast. That's why it's 7 a.m. where I am. But I would love my life, the life I want to live, is metaphorically over here on the West Coast. Now, I'm lucky because I love vintage stuff. I love mid-century modern things. And I I love Palm Springs, California. So I'm always talking about, so here you are in your life. You are right here where you are. You've done the things you did to get you here. Now, you did some good things, because there's good things about your life, but if there's things that you're not so cool about your life, why not figure out how to get to where you want to go, the life you want to live? And I always call mine Palm Springs. So today is a Monday. You show up. If you figure out some small little, small little baby steps, that's how you get there, is showing up regularly for baby steps. You will move towards your destination. If I'm in Philadelphia and I drive for an hour west, I am an hour now further away from where I was, and now I'm an hour closer to where I want to be. So instead of it being a 40-hour drive to Palm Springs, I am only 39 hours. And if I show up tomorrow and I drive an hour, if I declutter my house for 20 minutes today, I am less cluttered than I was when I started. And if I keep on showing up and, resting at certain points and getting my energy back and showing up and not taking a detour, not, oh, how the heck did I end up in Texas? I don't know. I was trying to go to California. So it's like a road trip, sell it all, buy a vintage camper and head west. Okay. So rustic relic. Here's the funny thing. I have sold a bunch of my stuff, but what I've done is, because I know how to declutter, is I've also kept the stuff that lights me up. I did buy a vintage camper. We did. After my dad passed, it was something I thought I always wanted to. Then I figured out, after we bought the camper and after we paid money to get it fixed up, we both realized we don't really like camping. Isn't that hysterical? But you learn these things about yourself. And I do head west, and I love it. But the thing, too, is instead of selling it all and blah, 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 like, I love my little house. I love the stuff in it. I love where my house is. I love my neighborhood. I love the town I'm in. I love my friends that are near and far. Like, I love where I am. So I love where I am. It's not cluttered. It's filled with only the stuff I love, only the stuff that works well, spatulas and stuff. And I wasn't always like this. I grew up in a cluttered, ADHD collector household. A lot of books, a lot of, just things that people collect, and people were busy with stuff, so things would pile up. And I luckily was able to fall into some jobs that taught me some skills on how to make things look good and declutter. But it really honestly wasn't until I figured out why I was it. The reason why I was cluttering up my life and doing all this collecting, I kind of turned inward as opposed to outward and buying. That made the difference. And now our house, things are, here and there, because we're humans. We don't live in a magazine shoot, but we can declutter. We can get things put back in like a hot minute, So there's that. So if anybody has any questions about clutter and struggle, clutter they're struggling with, pop them in the comments. Here I am to help. This is what I do. I have a one-on-one coaching program that I do with people. If you're interested in that, you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and sign up for a consultation. We could talk, see if it's a good fit, get you started. So literally, like if you started coaching with me now, like before May, your life will be completely changed for the better. I also have a mailing list on my website too. You can sign up for that. You get a couple of freebies, and I just sent out this morning, was it this morning or last night, just the people on my mailing list. We're going to do a group Zoom call next week where we can be face to face, and you can ask me your questions. I will help, and then you can also hear what everybody else has to say, because a lot of people struggle with the same things, and the process of working through it is a lot. All right. So Grandma Grateful says, I've been working on my clutter since the new year. I pick one project or room in a week. Awesome. Good for you. That is great. And the new year, that was weeks ago. So I bet you're making progress. Rock on with your bad self, as I think Mork from Mork and Mindy used to say, or maybe it was just Robin Williams. I'm a Gen Xer from a certain age, so I tend to speak in pop culture references, so hopefully they make sense to me. Hope they make sense to you. Okay, wanting to maybe insulate my garage and maybe move my side business outside to the garage. Sounds good. Eliminate the maybes and just do it. See what happens. You can do it. Kelly Ray says, I am so cluttered with mine and other things since my dad dies. I've been trying. Oh, hon. Now, I will say this, not knowing when your dad died, first of all, my heart goes out to you. That sucks. My dad has also passed, and we did struggle with him because he was one of the collectors in our lives. What I will offer to you is give yourself time to heal. Give yourself time to heal. Don't try to deal with the grief and the stuff at the same time. But when you're feeling like you're in a good place, I often talk about, and somebody says, I moved from a house to an apartment after my mom died, and maybe you are struggling with some stuff. Michelle, I see that too. Sometimes the questions go by really fast, so I apologize if I skip over things. But what I will offer to the both of you and anybody else who's dealing with kind of inherited stuff, and there's grief and sadness involved, is allow yourself to heal. There are 3 levels of clutter that I talk about. The very first top one is surface clutter. That's the stuff that's just, everyday stuff on your tables and stuff. There's not a lot of emotional attachment. Then we talk about, I help you deal with stored clutter. Now, stored clutter is stuff that probably needs to be sorted, but what you've done is you've packed it away into a small amount, and you've put it in a drawer, you've put it in a closet, things that are packed away behind doors, and so your house may look neat, but if you opened up these things, you'd be like, I don't even know what's in there. But the third one, when somebody died, we talk about sentimental clutter. Now, sentimental clutter is the one that is the most emotionally, it uses your emotional energy. It can really leave you exhausted. So I offer, wait till you're healed, do a little bit at a time. But here's the thing that I want to mention to you is, first of all, you could get rid of every single thing that your dad owned, and you would not forget your father. He lives on in your heart. He doesn't live in the stuff. The stuff reminds you of him. But you, even if you didn't have those little visual reminders of him, you would not forget him. He will always, for the rest of your life, live on in your heart. Now, I'm not saying don't keep little reminders. I have little reminders of my dad popping around the house myself. But what I will say is, when you think about that, you can release some things. Like everything, if you've saved things from somebody who has passed, everything they had is going to have a little bit of emotional charge. Because, Grandma used to own that. Or, Aga used to have that. Or, Aunt Dion used to, that was her thing. Or, there's a different emotional charge to it. But what I will say is, you can be really judicious about the things that you decide that you're going to keep to minimize your clutter about them. Work a little bit at a time about that. But also, here's the good thing. And my husband and I learned this. I mean, I'm a decluttering life coach. And even in my own life, we waited a very long time because my husband didn't want to deal with a couple of boxes of stuff that came from where his parents passed. But I strongly encouraged him. I said, let's just do it. Come on. It's been 16 years, something like that. The thing we found out, you guys, was that there was some really cool stuff in those boxes. We thought it was going to be a box that was all sadness and pain because we were being reminded if they were dead. We're kind of reminded that they're dead every day if you think about it. But what I will offer is we found some really fun stuff in that box. We found out stuff about his dad we never knew, about like when he was a midget sprint car racer and he got he got a really nice note from somebody that he saved. We found pictures of his mom when she was young. So not all the stuff you're going to go through is going to make you sad. You may find some stuff that's going to make you happy in that, okay? And going through it will help you process your grief and bring your person who's passed closer into your heart, so you're more easily able to release this stuff. The other thing, I see another thing about my mom passed away last March and she left no will. It has to go through probate and I have 6 different ones. Okay, holy for Jolies. Please, everybody, this is going to sound morbid, but it's true when I say it. We are all going to die, and we all do not know when. We all hope we're going to die when we're like 102 and we're in perfect health and all that, but you never know. I will please strongly, I'm going to plant a seed with you today. Not only please get a will, get any of those things that you need to get done in your life, just do it. Cost a couple of bucks, make it easy. You're making it easier on the people that love you, that are going to stick around and be grieving for you when you're gone. Make it easy on them to go through this stuff. Look at Rhonda. She has to go through all this stuff because there wasn't a will. And maybe her mother didn't know she was going to pass, but none of us really know when we're going to do it. So please get that kind of stuff lined up. But the other thing is too, when you declutter your life right now, not only are you improving the quality of your life where you are because you are lightening your load, because you are making the decisions about what's important to you. Decluttering is a journey of self-exploration, if I want to sound like one of those goofy self-help books. There are good self-help books there. There are other ones that I snark at because it's just my nature. I'm from Boston. What can I say? But what I will offer is you learn about your stuff. When you learn about yourself when you go through your stuff. You decide, I want to keep this, I don't want to keep that. That's because this makes me, this is closer to me. This makes me think of the person I am or want to be. This one, not so much. It didn't work out. Okay? So while you go through that, you improve it. But also, regardless of what you do now, when you die, somebody else is going to have to deal with your stuff. There's a book out there. It's in the other room. I should have brought it in. It's called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Very small book, but basically the gist of it is, right now, no matter what age you are, start going through your stuff as not to burden the people you love who are going to have to be dealing with the grief of your loss and trying to clean out your house and maybe having to do it in a short amount of time. Okay? So if you don't, sometimes we don't do things for ourselves. We say, I don't deserve it. It's fine. I can live with this crap. It doesn't matter. Think of how your stuff affects other people. And think of not just the people in your current alive life, if you live with other people and you all live in a cluttered household, how that can kind of jam up. Like when I do consultations with people, one of the questions I ask is how, on a scale from 1 to 10, how does your clutter and stuff affect your relationships? And sometimes it really does. But also after you pass. Now, I don't want to start the week being morbid about death, but it's all going to happen to us, you guys. And think about how you can make that easier for yourself. And also think about how the life you want to live. Don't you want to live an uncluttered life where you've got room, when you've got space and time in your day, time in your life to do the things you really want to do before you die? That's why I show up and do these things. I like to encourage you to make space in my little catchphrase is make space in your life for the things that are important to you. And I mean space in your home. I mean space in your schedule. I mean space in your mind. We talk about the thoughts in your mind that are keeping you stuck. So I didn't mean to start on a down note, but my heart is going out to every single person who's posting here. And even if you're not posting, if you have lost a loved one, if you have inherited stuff, if you own physical items that belong to somebody who is no longer alive, and you are struggling with it and you're making yourself feel guilty and holding on to it, I'm going to absolve you of that right now. The person you loved who's no longer here is looking down on you saying, get rid of it. That stuff isn't me. I'm me and I live in your heart. Okay? If that stuff's weighing you down, go live the life I don't have. Go do the things, as I like to say. Go do whatever it is. Don't be burdened and weighed down by stuff, okay? What else we got here? Depression for a while, doing better. Awesome. Yeah, it's a human condition, so my heart goes out to you. The book name again, the book is The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Oh, hey, the sun's out. It's very cool. Yeah. When do you usually do your lives? I have to go to work, but I really need you in my life. Okay. Well, I will say this. I'm sorry. These things are just popping up. The cool thing is I don't always do these lives. I just started them. But I actually have a post pinned on the front of my TikTok page that shows the dates and times. This week, I have the ability, because my schedule is working, to show up every morning. And I think this is fun and I'm helping people, so I'll do it. Next week, I'm doing some traveling, so I won't be around so much. But yes, I can't pronounce your username. But there's a pinned post on my my TikTok page. The other thing too, I want to offer everybody who's watching this right now. When I do my lives, I don't change. I don't walk around. I don't show you stuff. I sit here either at my kitchen table or I think I'll do some from my desk. I don't change. So please, when I am on and you're listening to this, put your phone down. Get up from wherever you are and just putter around and maybe start to declutter a little bit. You wouldn't be watching this unless clutter was an issue with you. Why not start with the time you're listening to me, almost like a podcast? Put your phone down and work on the surface clutter. You know that there are certain things on the surface that you know that could be put away where they belong, or trash can go in the trash, recycles can go in the recycles. You can put things back in the drawer or, where they belong. and you can tidy up some things while you are also getting motivated and I try to fill your tank with energy and gas and motivation of the right kind that makes you say, yeah, you know what? It really would be worth it to me in this one life that I have to deal with this clutter. So I can do it once and for all. I can have help getting declutter this backlog of stuff. While I do that, I get tips and I learn skills to keep myself decluttered so that for the rest of my life, I never have to struggle with the accumulation of clutter again. I deal with it a little bit at a time, and then I get to spend the rest of my life going out and living the life I want to live. Okay? What do we need to gather to bring up to attorney when we have the will drawn up? I will say this. I am not an expert in that. I'm not, but you know who is? The Google. Oh my gosh, you could Google it. There's probably a million people who all they do is do it. I honestly, if you do your own will, I think you just go to an attorney and you talk to them about what you want. Here's the thing you gather. Everybody, gather your thoughts. Making a will is making a plan for your stuff. Before you even when you're decluttering, we talk about we talk about your thoughts first. What do you want your life to look and feel like? You're thinking of, when you do a will, what you want your stuff to, where you want your stuff to go to people. And I would say this, probably 99.9% of the stuff you have is just stuff. There may be some valuable things you want to pass on to people, but for the grand amount of things, it may not be the things. But making a decision about your stuff is what decluttering is all about. Okay? So what else do we have? Yep. So people are getting into the more life insurance. Every little bit helps. Thank you for giving people tips like that. Yep. And I appreciate you for doing the thing. Listen to you the other day, like a podcast I clean for a living, but hard for me to do. I know. Isn't it funny? As I said, that's when I try to out myself to say, I am a decluttering coach. And yet, we had a box in our basement, a couple of boxes for 16 years, It can be tough to deal with, but how cool of that is it for you, Rhonda, for doing it for yourself? Isn't it interesting, you guys, that sometimes we will easily do things for others, and yet when we try to treat ourselves as good as we treat our friends or our loved ones, somehow we come up short and we're like, no, I would do this for somebody else, but I'm in a way like not worth it, or I'm exhausted, I want to spend my other time. This is why, as a coach, I provide you with that constant support, and I teach you how to talk to yourself kindly and to show up for yourself and to keep the promises to yourself that get you to where you want to go. Awesome. Calm Carolyn just said she's working on a few kitchen drawers now. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Okay. My mom is 88. Mine is 82. She is a lovely cluttered woman. I help her with this. Ginger, you're trying to do this. Points for trying. And trying, if you are doing, instead of saying trying, and this is the thing I love about coaching, I want to lovingly say, and I do this to my husband, you're trying to do this. If you have moved one thing from where it wasn't supposed to be to where it's supposed to be, you are doing this. So instead of saying to yourself, I'm trying to do this, tell yourself, it's a more powerful statement. Say, I'm doing this. I am doing this. Every time you put something away, every time you make a decision about where things go. Now, decision making can be tiring, so you will get tired. But when you make the decisions and then you put things away and then you get in the habit of putting things away as opposed to putting them down, you put them away, it actually changes your brain structure. It actually creates a new pathway. It gets you a new habit to simply start to be decluttered when you do things a little bit at a time. I only learned this, honestly, you guys, in the last 10 years of my life. I used to let it accumulate, and then we would deal with it all in one big thing, and accumulate and let it deal with, and then what I found out was taking like 2 minutes every day to put things away. 2 minutes, takes me, I timed myself because I'm a goof like that. 4.5 minutes to empty my dishwasher and put the dishes away. So I remind myself daily to just do those little things so it doesn't accumulate, most people don't understand their possessions are garbage. Well, you know what? As George Carlin would say, like, my stuff is good stuff, your stuff is garbage. So S.D. Benson, I lovingly say, somebody else is probably thinking your stuff is garbage. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you think about your stuff. I mean, case in point, in my living room, I could show you. I'm too lazy to get up right now. But I have over 100 plastic travel snow domes that I collected in the 90s. I love them. They cost $1 or $2 a piece. Other people will be like, you have those on display in your living room? Yeah, so what? They don't live here. It's my life. It's my stuff. I get to do what I want with it. That's it. All right. What else do we have? I didn't know other people did this. It helps a lot to know I'm not alone. Oh, hon, can I tell you, I'll share this with all of you, and this is to make you feel like, again, you're not alone. I have been doing these TikTok lives only for about a week or so. And what I'm learning is different people come in all the time. They find me different ways. So I will say this. If you know somebody who's struggling with clutter, let them know about me. I'm Beth. I'm the Decluttering Life Coach with Destination Decluttered is my business name. But what I will offer to you is this. I see the same questions coming through. I know that there are certain things, paperwork and clothes and people who have died and feeling sad and going through, struggling with stuff. So do not feel alone, exactly. So I have a hard time getting rid of my parents' things, especially mom's things since she passed. See, like this happens to be the theme, at least, of this morning. Many people are saying having a hard time getting rid of parents' things. And I'm happy to answer the same question 80 jillion times, because while it may be repetition for me, for somebody else it may be the first time they will hear it. So I will say this about, getting rid of stuff that was owned by somebody who has passed. The person lives on in your heart. They don't live in the stuff. Like, you know what? Like, case in point, my mother gave me this mug. My mother's still alive. I keep it because it's a handy size. I love the shape of mug. But if I decided later today, that I'm going to give this to someplace because we have enough mugs, first of all, it would not mean that I don't love my mother. Second of all, it doesn't mean I don't love my mother less. And third of all, it doesn't mean I'm going to ever forget my mother. I could eliminate every single piece of sentimental, things that I keep in my home, and you will never forget. You will never forget the people that are important to you. They live on in your heart. They live on in your mind. They live on in your memories. They may not be there at top of mind every day, but when you think about them, you get a good feeling, right? So think about that when you go to release the stuff. And if there are things that really have an emotional attachment, I'm not suggesting anybody become like a Zen Buddhist monk and not have anything. If you are of the kind that wants sentimental things around you, if that lights you up, if it makes you feel good to look at that thing and it reminds you of, like friends of ours just gave us a little postcard and I hung it up because it reminded me of them. That's great. It's your house. You get to do what you want. Clutter is the stuff that when you look at it, instead of lighting you up, green light in your heart, it's like traffic signals. Instead of lighting you up in your heart, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that. It makes me feel good. It tells me a good story. It makes me feel light and loved. When stuff is weighing you down, this is a thing I teach with my coaching, is I talk about your internal traffic signals. So there's green light, go, love in your heart. It lights you up. It's the stuff that if you looked around your house and all you were surrounded by is the stuff that you love, you would feel like a rock star walking into your home every day. You'd feel great opening the door if friends happen to come by, welcoming them in, because your house has this certain vibe. It's like curating your own, museum. You get rid of the stuff you don't want and you're left with all the good stuff. The crappy stuff, the stuff that makes you feel like crap, bad stories and everything like that, that's on the other end. That's like the red light. That's stop. That's ugh. That's poop. It's down at the other end. That's why I talk about the internal. You get your heart, you get your poop chute, right? Now the middle stuff is the yellow. Yellow is, do I step on the gas? Do I step on the brake? I'm not sure of how I feel about it. And every time I talk about it, I go like this and I feel like I'm dancing like Patti Smythe. It's so funny. But what I will say is this, is that figuring out how you feel about the stuff so that you make a good decision that feels right to you about how you want to feel in your life, how you want your life to look, and not just right now, but in the future. When you dream of your dream future, does that item that you're saving fit in with that? Do you want to move? Do you want to, somebody up thread said, sell it all and drive west. Do you want to hit the road? Do you want to downsize? Do you want to move to like a retirement home? Do you want to not move to anywhere at all, but be a nomad? The decisions you make about your stuff now can help you get to that life you want. One of the motivators for me, it's so funny, and I said this to my husband for years, and I'll just share it with you, was I had this thing in my head, like, if we ever had to move, like I said had to, but if we ever moved to Palm Springs, would I want this in my Palm Springs house? Because I love Palm Springs, California, like that whole style. And I was able to say no, even though I said to him, I love where we live and I don't plan on us moving. But having that idea of moving And if I had to move, what are the things I'd want to bring with me? And what are the things that I'd be not wanting to drag around? Then the other thing too is like, oh, I like the idea of Palm Springs. What could I do right now in the house that I love, in the area that I love, that I don't want to move from? What can I do to bring a bit of that feeling into my own house? So I have some brightly painted rooms. I've got a wonderful piece of artwork that I see every morning when I look up. When I wake up, it's right there. And it reminds me of that life, that feeling. Okay? So think about how your decisions on your stuff now are impacting your future life, and start living your future life now. Yeah. Watching this is like, how many words can you say in 15 seconds? Yeah, I'm from the East Coast, so I talk wicked fast. I felt bad knowing I'm throwing away a gift someone gave me, even if it was years ago when it was given. Okay, once again, I am going to absolve you. Boo, you're absolved of the guilt. Because here's the thing. The person who gave it to you because they thought you would like it. They had a good feeling to you, and they gave you that good feeling in the transaction of the gift giving. The gift itself is an inanimate object that came from a store that, or maybe they even made it, whatever, but it's not about the thing. It's about the emotion that was behind it and the emotion attached to it. So this is what I want to offer. If everybody has gifts that guilt them, is extract the love that the person had for you when they gave the gift, right? Extract it from the thing, make it a thing again, and you can release the thing, and you still have that good feeling of that person loved me and gave me a gift. Okay? And don't throw it away. If it's a gift, recycle it, donate things. I am always saying donate, do not throw away. Unless it's broken or gross or whatever. And just think about it. Your friend would not want you hanging on to it because you felt guilty. They want you to hang on to it because you like it. If you don't like it, I would like to think your friend would be like, oh God, by all means, get rid of it. That's fine. Okay, I'm sorry I'm not saying anything that helps you, Darylyn. Write down what you're struggling with and let's see if we can do there. Okay? Okay. How do you encourage in-laws who hoard to let go? The one thing I will offer, and this may change the game, I don't know if you've done this before, but kind of like I said earlier, if you give it to your, if you, first of all, go into that conversation with your heart open and your empathy aware. They may be struggling with it. They may not know what to do. They may be overwhelmed. So go at it saying, hey, I sincerely want to help you. Don't go in judgy. You know, if somebody's judgy about you, you're going to shut down, you're going to double down, you're going to dig in your heels, right? But say to them, hey, I noticed you have a lot of stuff. Is there anything we can help you with? And put it at a way that how can you improve their life with it? Are you struggling with this? Can we help you with anything? And do it from a loving point of view. You may be able to help them with it. They may not want the help for whatever reason. Everybody's got their own emotional attachments, and they're all subconscious attachments to their stuff. But go at it with love and see if it helps, okay? And then also know, frankly, also for everybody, start making plans in your own mind to say, if that person doesn't want the help now, I am going to have to deal with their stuff when they do pass. So let's start making a plan now. Like, not to sound morbid, but like look around their house to say, is there anything of theirs that I would want in my house? And if not, let's start making for a good plan to be able to donate these things. How am I going to empty out their house when they're gone? I apologize too. This is what happens on these is that when a lot of people showed up, which they have, and hello and welcome. I am Beth. I'm the decluttering life coach with Destination Decluttered is my business name. What happens is that stuff flies by and I can't see it, especially when I'm talking. So I'm going to try to answer everybody. If I have missed your question, I will offer this to you. There is a way on my TikTok page to send me a message. Send me a message about something you're struggling with if I don't answer this, because I'm only going to be on for the next 26 minutes. Yeah. And I will do a video that will address what you're doing, because if what you're struggling with, probably others are too. Okay. Yeah, see, I used to beg my mother to go through things. She would put it off, and now it's a mess. Yeah, here's the deal. Especially with certain ages of people, parents, if we're of a certain age or parents of a certain age, people were emotionally and forever changed by the Great Depression of the 1930s. That notion of you didn't have anything, that scarcity mode, that gets you into survival mode. And some people have never recovered from that or never examined the way that they deal with their stuff with that. So I feel bad that your mom had struggled to go through things, and now that you're left with her mess. But hopefully I'm giving you some tips that you can do that. What else do we have? Yep. I will say this. Somebody mentioned that I just popped up on their page. So please follow my TikTok page. I have a email mailing list. If you want to sign up for that, I have a habit tracker that you can get free when it's like a download with the first email. That's at destinationdecluttered.com/join. Also, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, that's where things really get awesome, because for an hour a week for 10 weeks, you and I get on Zoom and we just go through your stuff one-on-one. You tell me where you want to go, we get you there, and it's nothing but you for the entire hour. It's not like you get a smidge here and then you're done. Excuse me, I got a cough. I usually don't talk this much. You're great at lives. You read an answer with an explanation. Oh, thank you. Here's the deal too. Thank you, Shelley, for saying that, because I had a hang up for a really long time that I had to look perfect. I had to look this. I had to do this. I realized that I don't like it. I don't relate to people when they look perfect and too corporate and professional and polished. So I decided that for this week, this was getting me out of my comfort zone. I was going to show up real. I'm sitting at my kitchen table. I do have my yoga clothes on underneath this, but I got my robe on. I'm drinking my tea because I am a real person. I don't have makeup on. I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I never want to represent myself to be something other than I'm not, because this is how I show up in real life. This is how I explain things when I'm coaching. One of the things I do these for, frankly, I'll be completely honest, is if I am offering things that are helping you and you say, hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool to have her as my coach for like 10 weeks? Can you imagine what a difference that would make in my life, like before May even started? I want people to know what they're getting. I don't want to show up all corporate and professional and like, look, I've got all my act together, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then that's not how I am, and that's not how I coach. So if you want a real person who has been through everything that you're going through and has come out the other side and is like, holy Moses, you guys, like the pool is so awesome. Like, come on in. I want to help people get there. It's like being like a travel guide. And I know that because I've done that. I've taken people on road trips before. And when you get to a place you're so excited about, you want to share it with people. And so that's why I'm like, you guys, I've been there before. I know how to get there. Let's go. Let's go to your destination decluttered. Okay. So here I am. This is how I teach. This is how I look. And I do it from my heart because I want to help people. I don't have to get on the internet and do this. I could be scrolling myself, but I know something that I know can help you and can help anybody who's cluttering. So I feel like it's greedy of me to just keep that to myself. I want to share it. When I share what I know, I don't lose it. I give it to you and you have it. And then it's like that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial from back in the day. And then you tell 2 friends and so on and so on and so on. So thank you. Took pictures of stuff and let it go. Perfect idea, La Soup 2. I talk nothing about stuff. All I do is talk about stuff and joke. How do you get in the mindset to let go? Oh, this is a powerful one, you guys. This is why I decided to call my business Destination Decluttered, because I love traveling and I want to offer to you. You know that kind of fun, sparkly feeling that you get when you're going on a vacation, when you picture that destination you're going to? I know this because we've got a whole bunch of awesome travel planned for the next many months or so. Think about the feeling you get in your heart and in your body where you're like, oh my God, next week we're going to be in Florida. It's going to be warm. We're going to see our friends. Like all that kind of stuff. That's the mindset you want to get to when you think of your decluttering. Instead of thinking the slog, I'm here and it's going to be a slog to do it. It's not going to be fun. I look at it as a road trip. Imagine what your home can look and feel like. Imagine how you want your home in life to look and feel like once you've dealt with all the clutter. Picture in your head, close your eyes. Picture it up on the screen of a movie, like a movie screen at the drive-in movie theater. Like, what do you want your life to look and feel like? Fall in love with that idea of your life and know that every time you're decluttering, no matter how small, no matter how big, you are working towards that goal. That's the mindset you get to. And what coaching does basically is I will remind you, I will fire you up about that destination when you start to lose steam, when you start to believe that it's not worth going for, and you're just going to give up on your road trip and end up like in the middle of the country, parking your car there because you didn't get to where you want to go. I help you. I fill your tank. We make actionable items. So you're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Yep, I can do that. Yes, I will do that. Accountability. We make it fun, taking before and after pictures so that you basically show up every day in service to your dream life. And every day you do that, you get closer to it and you enjoy the road trip of it. Okay? Um, Hoarding is a problem. Hoarding is also a diagnosable thing in the DSM-5. So hoarding, I refer people who actually have that designation to licensed medical professionals to help them with the help that they need. It's a money thing for me. I think throwing money away. Okay, this is another thing. This is powerful. With the exception of items that people will pay you for, and they will pay you more money than you paid for your thing, like investment things like gold and silver and whatever it is that people collect these days. Every single thing in your house, as soon as you bought it, you lost the money. The money went away. Keeping the thing does not bring the money back. So if the thing that you want to release is not working for you, no matter how long you hold on to it, like the air fryer is good for us. We have down the basement. What's that thing? The little pressure cooker deal. The little, I can't remember what they're called. My husband wanted one. We got it. Whatever. We hang out to that. If he never uses it, it's not helping us. We will never get our money back. And I say that as a freedom to be like, yeah, I never will get my money back. There is Seth Godin. Google him. He's got a lot of good stuff. He's mainly businessy, but one of the keepers that I use for him in my decluttering is he has this phrase that says, ignore the sunk costs. You know, let's say you went to school for years to be a lawyer and then you really hated to be a lawyer. You could always say, but I spent all that money becoming a lawyer, but I really want to go, help other people in other ways. If you focus always on the money you spent and getting it back, you're going to be miserable. But if you say, I got to release that, I got to say, I spent money on something and I thought it would help me and it didn't, so I'm going to go. I say release yourself from the sunk costs. Say it's part of the process of being a human, that you're going to buy stuff that you hope works, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work for you, hanging on to it does not help. So release it. You won't get the money back unless you decide to sell stuff, and that's a whole nother thing. Okay? See, I'm not much of a sentimental person with things. I kept one thing my nanny liked, makes me smile. That's awesome. Everybody's got their own version of things. You know what? Be kind to yourself when it says horrible realization, I paid for this shit. Oh, listen to those words you're using to yourself, huh? You're saying, I can't believe you bought that shit. Okay, talking mean to yourself doesn't work. Doesn't work unless you want to make yourself feel like shit. And then, yeah, it really works nicely. You want to make yourself feel like shit? Talk to yourself like shit. You want to make yourself feel better? Talk yourself better. And I say that like it's a process. I have this whole framework. When you talk to yourself, those are thoughts in your head that are making you feel like shit, so you stay stuck and you don't change. But when you start to talk to yourself a little bit nicer, a little bit kind, a little bit loving, it's a game changer. I only learned this seriously like in the last 10 years, actively, and it has revolutionized my life. So please, 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 Van Destin, as one human being to the other, just treat yourself kindly, okay? Life's hard enough without you beating yourself up from the inside out, all right? All right. I think it's because as a child they didn't have much. Yeah, spot on. Many people do that, But the thing is that you were trying to fill up the hole of not having enough when you were a kid with stuff, and sometimes that works, and sometimes you're just always gathering, because the whole is not about the stuff. The whole is about healing that part, okay? Neat gadgets, stuff that belongs, okay. Can't get rid of stuff, all right. This is the thing. I will be here for the next 17 minutes, but I will say this. This gives you a flavor of what it is like to coach. And I see some questions here that there's so much in depth to it. I don't mean to minimize them, but I'd have to ask so many questions to get clarity over what's really happening. That's why we go into the coaching situation. Is to really uncover, to peel back the layers like an onion, to say what's really behind this, and not in like a scary way, but in a curious way. Like, these are the things that I didn't even realize that were affecting my decision making when I was making decisions. We all think that we know what we're doing, but let me tell you, there are unseen stories in you that cause you to do what you do. And instead of being afraid of that, when you get curious about that and you learn about that and you say, whoa, that's why I did that. I never really made that connection. You learn about yourself. You learn more about yourself. And then when you learn about yourself, you can make better decisions that support the person you want to be. Okay, what else do we have here? Thank you so much, everybody here. Kitchen gadgets. Okay, kitchen gadgets. I'll say this. If you haven't used it in a while, make yourself a note to say, I'm going to use that. First of all, if it doesn't take up a lot of room, like I have a bottom drawer in my kitchen that is for the things that we rarely use. But if I emptied it out, I would not be using that space for anything better. So yeah, I have like a dough cutter, and I've got like a hand mixer that somebody gave me, and I've got my, a couple of things that we inherited, a candy thermometer. I may never use it, but the space of a candy thermometer is not going to be used for something really beneficial. So I may use it someday. I am at a certain point. I'm not one of those people that says, get rid of everything and blah, blah, blah. Like at a certain point, you can over optimize your house. You can struggle with the decisions on, do I keep my candy thermometer or not? Or you can say, it's in a drawer. I know where it is if I need it. And then you go out and you live your life. I do the decluttering only to get you start living your life. That's why I call myself the decluttering life coach. Because it's not just about, and now I have a perfectly organized house and my socks are alphabetized and everything is folded in a certain way. That's not how my life is, but I know where everything is. I have room for everything in the storage. I can find it in a hot minute. And when I find that are things that do not work for me anymore, I actively, daily create bags of stuff to donate to food pantries, to clothing places, to places that, household goods too. It's a process to always just work on your clutter. The more you realize that the stuff you have works or doesn't work for you, you lighten your load. All right, donating it to the needy, trying to do stuff, whatever. Body doubling, somebody mentions that too. I offer that too. When I'm talking about this stuff, know that you've got somebody on your side that is encouraging you to declutter. So put your phone down and go start moving stuff around. Put your trash in the trash. Put your recycles in the recycles. Put stuff away that has a home that you know where it is. Okay, that will help, ADHD, I appreciate the tip that somebody put about, I would just want to mention ADHD. A lot of my clients, I have ADHD in my family. I probably have it as a recessive gene, and I probably, but I have found ways. I know how to deal with that, and I help you deal with it, because especially that's when the one-on-one coaching works really well, because the ADHD brain just looks at things differently. So we create a system that works for your different brain. That makes sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, but it gets you knowing where your stuff is, not beating yourself up, and it works with the unique way that the ADHD brain works. I say this, I think the ADHD brain, I love all brains, because our brains do things that nobody else can. And when you free up your brain space to do the things that it does, which is make connections and have ideas, that's when the magic happens. I feel like that's the way I'm able to do so much of the stuff now, is because I don't worry about my clutter, and I offshore a lot of my to-dos. I don't use it as a storage system. I free it up to do fun things like this, Yeah, everybody, we are all of a generation. Anybody on here, you are of an age from whatever your 30s to your 80s, that we grew up in a society that said, if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling sad and lonely, to buy something. Buying things will make you feel better. And it doesn't always work, and then you're filled with stuff, I love it that I see people that are saying nothing in my house that doesn't need to be there. Rock on. You know how it feels, right? That's why I'm here encouraging people to feel that way too. What if my grown daughter keeps bringing in stuff to pile up? She's not even living with me. Oh, Rosie, this is what we call boundaries. And that's a little bit of that's a thing that you should really think about, is if she's not living there, why have the conversation with her and change it to say, hey, I know you've been using my house as a place to store your stuff, but I want to declutter my house, so you are going to have to take responsibility for your things. Now, I say this like as if that's going to be so easy and whatever. I know it's not going to be easy, but your house, where you live, and the quality of your house matters. And here's the other thing too. If you're living in a house with people that aren't pulling their weight or doing something to actively do it, they're used to people being able to, like, oh, I can just walk all over her, or I can do this and she's not going to say no. So it makes it easy for them to avoid their own stuff. So Rosie, what I will say this to you, I don't even know you, but when your daughter is coming in and putting her shit in your house and you don't want it there, you deserve to have a house without her shit in it. So you deserve to stand up for yourself in a loving way to say, hey, deal with your own stuff. This is my house, and work on it. It will maybe be difficult, but sometimes those difficult, oftentimes, especially in coaching, what I call scary shortcuts, the quickest way for you to get to your house not being like that is to have that scary, uncomfortable conversation with your daughter and stand up for yourself and say, this was how it was until today, and now I've decided to let you know that it's not going to be that way anymore, because I deserve to have a house that I feel comfortable in. Okay? That's a really lot of stuff in a really short amount of time because we're here in this public forum. But if we were coaching, we could add nuance to that in baby steps and find out why she's doing it, why you're doing it, get a better picture to make it easier for yourself. But what that means. What else do we go? I agree. I don't know what shadow band means. I don't need. Mies van der Rohe. Yep, less is more. Totally, 100%. I am a mid-century modern and, early 20th century design aficionado. So, yes, you don't need as much stuff as you do. I mean, somebody mentioned something about one mug. Like, we have 12 mugs, but we don't have 50. And we have curated them. When my chapter, I'm old enough of my life that I have many chapters in my life. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. And one of the chapters in my life was being an art history major in college. And so I know all about museum curation. And one of the things that places do is you can't keep all the stuff, is you only pick out the best. And here's a fun thing that I do with my clients when you have too much stuff, is say to yourself, I only deserve the best. So when you have multiples of anything, when you go through that, when you have all of your spatulas or all of your pens even, say, I only deserve the best. And only pick out the ones that really work for you. You know how sometimes you have pens that it's almost like you're pushing the ink and it's like all splotchy. No, throw that away, put it in a bag to donate to somebody who has no pens at all. But you only deserve the best. You deserve to be surrounded by the best of what you have. And when you identify the things that are the best, you are saying about the other ones that they don't work for you quite as well, and that makes it easier to release. So it's about quantity and quality. The quality of the things you surround yourself with, I'm not saying go buy expensive stuff. What I'm saying is look around what you have. And if it's not working for you, if it frustrates you, pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel. If you get frustrated every time you're trying to use that dull knife and you've sharpened it and you've sharpened it, doesn't stay sharp, you owe it to your feeling good in your home to do away with the never sharpening knife and get yourself a good knife that every time you cut, you're like, oh, cuts like butter, right? You deserve the best in your home, in your life. Those micro things you do in your life to eliminate that aggravation feeling, when you eliminate those little tiny aggravations and the big aggravations, suddenly you have no aggravation. You have reduced the amount of aggravation in your life. So there we go about that. Oh, now a whole bunch about, this is what I kind of like irks me, TikTok. I'm talking to the platform, is I will not see any questions and then I'll do this and it's like, all of a sudden a flurry of them come up. I have 7 minutes and because I have stuff to do today, I have some coaching and some consultations, but I want to honor my time with you guys. So I'm going to try to quickly go through some of these questions. Sorry, my brain's going too fast. And if I didn't answer your question, please know this. It isn't because I was ignoring it. It's because it went by so fast. What I will offer this, though, is there is a way to send me a message on TikTok. If I didn't answer your question and you want me to answer it, put the question, follow my page, and put the question in the message thing so I know it's there. And then, Then I can do a video that will address it. Because if you're struggling with something, probably somebody else is too. So your struggle can help somebody else in addition to yourself. I have not been to the Rijksmuseum in Holland. I have been over there and I want to return. So thank you for the tip. Barcelona Pavilion. Oh, you're talking my language. I'm trying to, okay, let me do this. For me, none of my kids come visit me because of all this. Okay, how about this, and that creation? One of your destinations of getting decluttered is so your kids will come visit you. Do you want your kids to come visit you? Do you want a life where your kids are happy to come visit you as opposed to stressed out everything that come in your house? If that's a worthy goal for you to move towards, then that should motivate you in a really good way for you to say, yeah, this is a good reason for me to deal with my stuff, okay? What else do we have? I'm so proud of myself. I've been letting go of it and it feels so good. You rock, okay? So yes, you should be proud of yourself because everybody here knows how it ain't easy to get rid of yourself. Everybody here, every time you remove something from your life that doesn't work, be proud of yourself. You are defining what is important to you and what is not, and you're actively doing something about it. And I love, too, that Mighty Determined 2015 says she's let go of so much, or he or they has been letting go of so much, and it feels so good. That's the thing, you guys. I would never be on here encouraging you to do something that makes you feel like ass when you're done with it. I am telling you from the other side, it feels amazing. to like just walk around and be like, I don't have to spend any time digging my house out. I get to leave my house and be like, I know it's going to be clean and organized when I come back from a trip. When I walk in from a trip, it's like, nice and clean. When I go out on a weekend, I'm like, I don't have to deal with my garage or my basement or my attic because it's already done. It's a great feeling. And the sooner you start, it's like a road trip. Where's my map? I'm always about the maps. It's like a road trip. The sooner you start driving from the East Coast to the West Coast, you get there. You show up, you can drive. Okay, so it's 40 hours from where I am to Palm Springs. I can drive an hour a day, and if I do that, I get there in 40 days. Can you imagine what if you worked for an hour, just an hour a day, decluttering your house for 40 days? What a difference you would make. Also, and I'm not suggesting you do this, this is the other thing too. Do not let your backseat drivers tell you that you need a whole big swath of time. You can get a shit ton done in a little bit of time. I got to say this too. I am not a sport person, but I live in the Philadelphia area, and there was this football game last night. I don't know, some of you may have heard of it. I never realized, and this is one of the things, if you all are sporty people, like how long a minute can be. The last minute of that game with one team maybe winning and one team maybe losing, you can get so much done in one freaking minute. 5 minutes. If you only have 5 minutes, you would be amazed. If you set a timer for 5 minutes and you just declutter, you will see a noticeable difference in your life in 5 freaking minutes. Okay? I want to offer that to you. It's gold. And when we coach together, what I do is we create little things for you that you know you're going to be able to do. You set your timer, you make it fun, you high five yourself, you write down all the good stuff, you remind yourself of this road trip you're on towards this destination you want to get to, and we make it fun, and you see the progress. That's the thing I love about decluttering. You take a picture, you take a before picture like an HGTV show, and you declutter for 20 minutes. When you take a picture of that same space, 20 minutes later, it's better. Now, sometimes it looks worse before it looks better when you're sorting stuff, but it's better after you've sorted the things, okay? It's books. I have hundreds. I have multiple copies of some favorites. It's difficult. Okay, so Carrie Susan 669. I grew up in a book household. My mother to this day, she's 82 years old. She is buying books on a daily basis. She ain't never going to read them, but it's how she deals with life, and I can't fix her, so I know that when she passes, I'm going to give away all her books, because they're not going to be worth anything. This is what I want to offer, Carrie. With the multiples, why not pick your favorite? Pick your favorite. Maybe it's the first edition. Maybe it's the one that was autographed. Maybe it's the one that has the dust jacket. Maybe it's the one that's in the best condition, right? And the cool thing is, this is what I love. I have multiples of 2 books, but I have them because I want to give them away to people. If you have multiples of certain books, it's maybe because you love that book. Why not share it with somebody? Say, oh my gosh, people, I love this book. And it doesn't have to be people you know. You could get onto your local Facebook page and you could say to neighbors and people around you, I have this book, I love it, who wants a free copy? That could be a fun way of you sharing your joy of that book with other people, okay? Somebody's heartbroken. I'm sorry you're heartbroken. I have 2 minutes left and I have to go. Let me see. Okay. Throwing out 2 cents, buy stuff expensive. Okay. So I love the fact that other people are helping people in the comment section. So thank you for trying to help your fellow human being with what they're struggling with. That's why I'm here. Okay. And I am only here for another 2 minutes because I have coaching and consultations. And this is how I am showing you how that I draw my boundaries. And Rosie, I see you're struggling with your daughter. And I really hope you can work on that. But please, if this was helpful to you, please like my page because I post videos every day. Also on my page, there's a place where I'm going to be showing up for different lives this week. Now, it won't be like that every week. I'll be honest with you. I love having a flexible schedule. I do a lot of traveling. So when I'm able to do these, I do them. When I don't, I don't. So when you get them, it's kind of a special thing. But what I will also offer is, if you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com/join, join the mailing list. You get 2 or 3 things. One is you get a direct line to me. The other thing is you get a habit tracker that I created that's fun and road trip based, that helps you stick with your habits. And then also for my people that are only on my email mailing list, we do a once a month live Zoom where we can get on and talk about for an hour. Everybody gets to share what they're struggling with and I help you with that. Also, if you want to do one-on-one coaching, my website, destinationdecluttered.com, is where you go and you can schedule a consultation for me. That's where you and I get to meet. We get to figure out if what you're struggling with is something I can help you with. And if you did a consultation this week, we could literally start coaching for our 10-week session, like this week or next, and your life would look and feel so much different before May. Okay, I just want to offer that. But my name is Beth. I call myself the Decluttering Life Coach, but Destination Decluttered. I call it that because put a destination of what you want your life to look and feel like in your head. And every time you make a decision about stuff in your life, whether you keep it, whether you throw it away, whether you buy new things, if you have that idea of what you want your life to look and feel like, and you fall in love with that, that will help you make better decisions about your stuff, okay? I hope that helped. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for helping your fellow person. And yeah, I wish you all the best. I will say this, struggling with your stuff doesn't feel comfortable, but you can do it. And it feels so much better on the other side, okay? Wow, my hand looked really big there. Let me try my other thing, all right? Oh, it's so funny how it's right-handed. All right, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. I don't remember what time I'm on, but I will be there. Check my page for that, all right?